Alright, this video is how to jack up and potentially rotate, which I'm going to do, your tires on any car. This is a Toyota Tacoma. Pretty simple car. I've got the stock tires, got like 20,000 miles, and as you can see on the front, it's starting to wear down on the edges, but not as much wear in the middle. And I think it's the same on the back side. The back's the opposite. The backs wear more in the middle because they got a load, and less on the edges. So you want to rotate them front to back to front on the same side. That's what I'm going to do. We got to jack up the car first. There you can see there's almost no wear on the outer edge of this rear tire, and more wear on the inside, but no wear on the outer edge, so let's rotate them. The bottle jack is under the rear seat here, and on the bottle jack they give you jacking points. This is a body on frame, so you can see right here on the front they want you to be in between the wheel and this cross member on the frame, and then in the back they want you to be on the axle. So I'm going to actually use this on the axle since it's got a, well, actually maybe I'll use this one on the front. I'll use the other jack I have on the axle because it's a bigger landing point. Unless it doesn't mesh up right with the axle, I'll have to check that out. Alright, I'm gonna go with this bottle jack on the axle. I think it's gonna match up better right up against here than the other jack that I have. You gotta use your hand, get it by hand first to get it up there, and then when you touch, line it up, and then you can start jacking up. But we'll also loosen the lug nuts on both rims first before we start jacking up, and we'll get this one in position in the back and the one in position in the front, the other jack that I have, so that we can jack both sides up at the same time and don't have to pull this spare tire off of here, which is underneath the vehicle. It'll save time with the rotation. Yeah, the design of this fits snug right under there without causing any pinching or damage to the axle, so this is the way to go. And actually I want to move it a little bit further towards the edge, maybe like this. There. There we go. Here's the floor jack, and it's going to go up right and touch here, right here, between this cross member and the front wheel and this space. This is where it has to go. Just making contact. Now we want to loosen the lug nuts. Start loosening the lug nuts on front and rear, and then we will finish jacking up and then switch tires. Alright, on this one it's 21 millimeters, 13/16 is it. Just loosen them up. Shouldn't take much to do it. You have to break it free a little bit. Get all of them. Alright, get it just high enough off the ground so that this wheel will spin on the front end. And then we can also lift it up on the back end as well. Make sure it stays stable. In order to get leverage on this, you need to put these together. See how these pieces fit together? Like this. Whoops. There we go. And then get some leverage with this on the end. This is the lug nut wrench. Alright, it's off the ground now. Now we just undo the lug nuts by hand and switch front to rear. And that's it. Okay, they're all off. And we'll switch the rims, front and rear. There's the front one covered in brake dust. That's what the rear looks like. It's got drum brakes on this Toyota Tacoma truck. And the rear rim is much cleaner, no brake dust. There's the brake dust generator right there. That's what the front suspension looks like on the Tacoma. This is a 2016 third generation. Let's put them on. Oh, and in order to do this front to back rotation, you gotta make sure your tire sizes, which are right there, is the tire size, is the same front to back. Otherwise you can't do it. If you have staggered design, you cannot do it. And you wanna get these on with your fingers at first, and then use the lug nut wrench, and you gotta tighten them in a pattern where you're crisscrossing, basically. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. I'm not using the lug nut wrench yet, but I'm going to in a second. If you don't do that, it could crack the wheel, it could warp the rotor behind you. A lot of bad things could happen, so make sure you do this correctly. So get this one in, then go here, then go here. See how we're crisscrossing? You don't want to do it in a circular pattern. You could crack something. Stress won't be evenly distributed. This is very important. Very important. Don't make them super tight, but you need to make sure that 1, 2, see the wheel starts to spin anyway. You can't make them super tight. All right, and one more, and then you're ready, and then you want to torque them when you drop the truck down or vehicle down off of the jacks, off of the jack stands, whatever you have. Just to get this thing low enough so that the jack is free, it won't take that much. So the jack becomes loose underneath that axle. And always find your proper jack stands depending upon your vehicle. This is just an example vehicle, but you need to find your proper jack stands. Check the tire pressures when you're done. Reset the pressures based on what your car says, your owner's manual, inside the driver's door jamb. When they're cold and no sun's on them, like there's sun on them now, so we can't do it accurately. It's got to be in the shade, not being driven for a while, that kind of thing. All right, now we're good. See, we're below the axle. And this one's easy to lower down. Just do it slow. When you twist this, it's going to start to lower it down. Woo! Oh, a little faster than I wanted, but tighten it so that we don't have to jack it up like that on the other side all the way. But now we're down both sides. Now we can torque everything with the lug nut wrench using that same pattern I showed you. Except you want to get the right amount of torque on it. Also check your owner's manual for that. Don't over tighten. And then you're done. Yes.